And one of the provocative questions I've just asked in the previous videos, if you haven't watched it, is, well, okay, if I can't get these properties to work in the area that I'm in, what do I do? So here's what I discovered. When we first looked at the UK and we were buying here, I was in a city just close to Oxford, or a town close to Oxford, where the prices and the capital growth was very good, the yield was low, the cash flow was really low. So I could take a certain amount of money and put it into a property, and that property would only produce this much cash flow. If I drove literally 3 hours from where I was living, I could find properties where I only had to put a smaller amount of money down, but produce this much cash flow. So instead of in the south getting this much cash flow, in the north I was getting maybe 3 times or 4 times that much cash flow, which is crazy if you think about it. So instead of buying a 250k property in Oxford, I could go and buy an 80 or 90,000 pound property somewhere in Manchester, for example, and put less money down and produce more cash flow. Ugh, crazy. Now, the difference there, of course, is that the northern properties wouldn't appreciate as much as a rule of thumb unless I was to add value, force the value, convert it, do something clever with it, but that's another conversation for another day. What I am getting in that situation is cash flow. So I started to look at different markets, different areas around the country, and here's the question you've got to look at. And when I come over actually to start to teach in some of the other countries, what I'll be doing is having a quick look at that marketplace and saying, well, does it work here? Doesn't work there, doesn't work there, oh, might work there. And there's multiple strategies. So even when I talk about passive income, you might not be aware of this, but there's 6 or 7 or 8 or 9 different variations on passive income. You can do small HMOs, medium HMOs, large HMOs, commercial to residential. You can do buy-to-let for students, buy-to-let professionals, buy-to-let for families. There's social housing strategies. And that's one of the things that you've got to be aware of as a property investor. You see, each country has different types of exit strategy. And for me, I'm looking for multiple exit strategies. So if I know that in the right country there are certain strategies that work, all I'll look to do is move to that area in terms of my investment strategy, not physically move there, but look to move my investment strategy there, and I will look to buy into those areas. But it may not be that it even works in those areas. And I've actually been out to countries like Australia, for example, and Singapore, where I sat with investors and we've really analysed the market. And we couldn't find it working, not the way we can get it to work in the UK. And they said to me, well, Dr. O, what do I need to do? I said, well, maybe you need to get to the UK. And actually, that's what they've ended up doing. They've actually ended up flying back over to here, taken the time to put teams in place. And of course, given a choice, you've got Brisbane, the sunny coast there, Perth, Adelaide, wherever it is, Sydney, Melbourne, great weather. UK, not such great weather, but great passive income. So why not live over there, but have the passive income from here? What a great strategy. And so they're looking and investing into certain areas. They're having a little bit of guidance, which is amazing. And actually, that's a really clever thing to do. You could be like this, asleep somewhere else in the world, and cha-ching, your alarm clock is creating a passive income for you. Just think about that for a minute. So think about it like this. It's strategy first, then an area where that strategy works, and then the property in that area. And I think that's a very important message to finish off with.